Hey, Alan, how are you?
Hey Jeff, I'm
Man,
good. That's
I,
background to you guys is pretty like that new virtual background.
yeah, do you like that? It's called Orlando Hotel Room.
Oh, really? Because I'm using the same one.
Ah, it's very
Except
nice.
mine's not a background.
Why not? Are we in the same room?
Dude, if we had conjoining rooms, I would love to just get up and walk to your room and have you walk to my room, but ain't gonna happen.
Well, I assure you that I would rather have you on the other side of the wall than whoever is on the other side of the wall. Last night, about a half an hour after midnight, I thought somebody was watching like maybe like a replay of a sporting event. There was that type of like cheering, but it was like yell cheering,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, it went on for over half an hour. So next time we need to figure out how to get conjoining rooms.
Yeah. I just so you know, mine was super peaceful, quiet, no problem. Slept like a baby. Up every
I'm
two
glad to hear
hours
that.
crying.
I'm glad to I'm glad to hear that for you. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Hey, so let's do a recap. Tell everybody
Yeah.
where we are and what's going on.
We are at the ARC Forum Conference 2022 in Orlando at the Renaissance um, Marriott
Yep, and
City Hotel.
it is 850 attendees.
Yeah.
Some of our absolute favorite people are here
Yep.
right now, and I've already got a chance to meet, I don't know, a dozen folks that I've never had an opportunity to meet before, and I'm already learning from them. Um, for me, the highlight of this whole thing is the network that we get to build as a result of bringing all of these people from different industries, different viewpoints on how they address problems into one space that we can interact together.
Yeah, I'm most excited about the last ARC forum we went to, which was 2020, right before COVID, February 2020. There was a something special that happened during that conference that not on it was really around the connections that we made with individuals within this industry, and then we had the ability to do ignition cross collective um, event, and then we took everybody to Top Golf,
Yeah,
and I could not tell you how excited I was to get back to ARC because of the oh man, the kind of leaving on that high note of, man, these people are, again, right, like you said, some of my favorite people that I
yep,
get to interact with. I've met at this conference, and coming back, I got delayed, so I was a day late getting here, but last night got here at 9 o'clock, got to sit at a table with just some of the greatest people I know
yep.
last night until 11 o'clock, and it was awesome.
It's all about adding value, how we add value to others, how they add value to us, and that is my cheesy segue into introducing our guest today.
All right.
So I don't know, Alan, if you've had a chance to meet Omar, but Omar is the business development over with HighByte. Omar, hey, how are you?
Hey, nice to meet you guys.
You
Yeah.
too. You are not in the hotel room.
I guess I'm the only one.
Yeah.
You like these new virtual backgrounds, Omar?
Yeah, I guess, or maybe it's like a hotel room background. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yesterday, or no, not yesterday. I'm sorry. About a week ago, Omar, you had a LinkedIn post, and you did a really cool, I thought, a really neat job of summing up um, our role as men and women in industrial automation, particularly on the vendor side, about trying to seek to add value into the lives of others. And so, Alan, Omar, and I kind of had a discourse through some direct messaging. I was like, "Hey, come on, coffee chat. Let's talk about what drives us and that undercurrent of how we add value to others." So, yeah, Omar, thanks. And speaking of adding value, so I've already detracted value from Omar. I screwed up royally yesterday, right? I set this up for yesterday, and like at 1 o'clock, and Alan, your travel plans went awry and haywire, and you ended up not being in Orlando.
Oh man, did you? Were you able to get? I guess were you able to get where you needed to go?
Yeah, I got delayed. I was supposed to be here Sunday, got delayed, missed my connecting flight in Dallas, and so I stayed in Dallas till 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday, and then got to get into Florida at 9 o'clock last night.
There
So-
you go. You made it finally.
So I never saw Alan, and so that was my like visual reminder that we were supposed to be doing a coffee chat yesterday. And about 45 minutes after the coffee chat was scheduled, I see a notification on my phone from Omar saying, "Hey Jeff, are we doing this?" I'm like, "Well, no, we're not."
Well, yeah, well, I thought maybe it was a time zone thing, but I mean, I totally get the traveling, and it's especially when you have layovers. If your flight's even half an hour late, it can throw off the entire thing. So
Yep.
totally get it.
So Omar, where are you based out of? Where's home for you?
Yeah, so I'm based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The majority of the members of HighByte live in the Maine or Mass area, but I live here.
And so you've been doing business development for HighByte for how long now?
Yeah, so I was employee number 6 of HighByte. We're up to it's just here's a little mug, HighByte. We're up to 20 employees now, and I've been there for 2 years now.
That's exciting. So I saw that HighByte's. You've been doing a great job to start with, because I've been getting more and more information about HighByte in my feed, and learning more about the data contextualization that you guys do. Will you, just to maybe take a minute, and for someone who's not familiar with HighByte, can you frame it before we start talking about kind of how we add value in our personal lives?
Yeah, so we're a software company. Our software application is called the HighByte Intelligence Hub. And at a high level, the HighByte Intelligence Hub empowers industrial companies to be able to create data models to solve for specific use cases from using different data sources. So whether you have some information in Canary, or if you have some information in Ignition, or in some CSV files, or a SQL file, being able to create a data model with important information from all these different systems to be able to help tell a story. So that's really what we're in the mission of doing.
Yeah. So contextualization and bringing together multiple sources for a clear understanding of your operation, right?
Exactly. Nailed it.
Well,
I think-
looks like we lost Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It looks like.
At least he got stuck in an area that, or in a screenshot that we can't take advantage of. But I did not see your post on LinkedIn, but I am curious about the what you have, your thoughts around how we serve each other in this community and how we add value to each other.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's an important topic, and I guess it looks Jeff is still frozen there. So I think my post, Alan, was around how do we basically a large role of somebody who's in sales or in providing value is going to be different depending on where people are in their journey. So the way I like to think about, I guess I was thinking about this topic a little bit more in deeper detail prior to the call, and wherever somebody is in that, I guess that's that buying journey, providing value is going to mean a different thing. So if I'm on a call with somebody and they're really just trying to hey, we're trying to do digital transformation, we got some paper processes, we're trying to figure out this, we're trying to figure out, how do we get this thing going? Then that conversation about being able to provide that person value is a lot different than if somebody says, hey, I'm interested in HighByte. We have this specific use case. We have information from these different sources. We want to try to create a model. We want to send it to MQTT or something like that. So providing value it's definitely not a one size fits all type of thing. It's really going to be dependent on where people are in their buying and discovery part of the journey. So I can go into that a bit more detail, but I guess at a high level, do you guys kind of feel the same way about that?
Are you back, Jeff?
Yeah, I am. So they decided to try to switch me back over to kind of the crappy conference Wi-Fi instead of the upgraded hotel Wi-Fi. But I am back. Thank you, Mac OS, for trying to solve those problems for me, adding value. So a really cool thing happened a couple weeks ago in my life. I've got this like small group, men and women, that we get together. It's faith-based, and the leader of the group said, "Hey, tonight we're going to write our obituaries." It's great. I'm out, and he took us to an yeah, like this is weird, right? Like I don't want to write my obituary. But he took us through an exercise that he had gone through 2 years ago, right at the beginning of COVID, that was super impactful in his life. And through a series of questions, he made us think. And I had to kind of come up with like, what is the one statement that I would want people to remember about me? Like, what was my mission statement for my life? And I boiled it when I took everything about what I believe and what I want to focus my life on. It came down to helping others discover their value and know their worth. That's if I can, if somebody stamps that on my life, then I'll know I lived the life that I have been called to live. And so it was awesome, Omar, to hear you start talking about that, right? And I thought, man, do we ever, as salespeople or as consultants, do we ever really, are we so focused often on our product, whether the product is software, or Alan, in your case, right, the product is you, or what's in that brain of yours.
Scary.
Are we so focused on trying to sell that, or are we solutioning and just trying to find areas where we can improve people's lives professionally, personally, and adding value? And so if that's our focus, Alan, I'm going to put you on the spot. So as everybody knows and knows us, we don't practice any of this stuff. That's why it's usually a hot mess. But Alan, like if you meet someone in the business world, so you're downstairs, you're having lunch, ARC this afternoon, meet somebody new, you want to add value to them, what's one of the first things you would do?
Well, the very first thing I would do is I want to know about them. I want to know, not just what you do, but what you're passionate about. What is it that you, especially like in this context, right? We're coming together with a bunch of people who are similar in industry. And so like, what is it that I can do or help you with that will connect you with the right people to help you achieve the things that you want to do? So I'll give you a perfect example. We had a guy named Keith Lighting. He reached out to you randomly. You connected me and him together. I convinced him to come to ARC. Last night, first thing I did when I got to the hotel, I was like, hey, where are you at? You need to come and meet these people. And so to start to get his network built out so that he has connections with people like Pat Smith, who he worked for me. Pat Smith is just one of those guys that he's just amazing. So that relationship with Keith and Pat will pay huge dividends to Keith as he has the opportunity to reach out to Pat and be like, hey man, I know that you've done this before. I'm getting into it. What would you have help me with, right? The relationship that Keith had starting with Benson Hoagland, the relationship Keith is starting with Arlen, and all these people that we have this incredible gift of being connected with through, different things. But how do we help other people achieve and this is the thing, right? It's the same thing with Integrate Live. It's not about making, Keith's company better. It's about, man, Keith, how can we help you in your journey? Because if we can empower you, and your success, well, guess what happens?
The company
Your
gets better.
company is going to improve. Exactly.
That's right. So, Omar, in your life, has there been a man or a woman who's been formative in just pouring value into you and helping bring you along, mentoring you?
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
How's that for on the spot?
That's a tough one. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't say that there's been one particular mentor or person who has completely outshined everybody. I mean, of course, you take a lot of gratitude to the people in your life, like your parents and your spouse, and your kids who empower you and inspire you daily. But I would say that a lot of my inspiration and my realization of who I am, what I can be, and that continues to grow is based on the experience I've had in life. And sometimes they haven't been fun experiences. Sometimes adversity and the challenges I've experienced have been the biggest realizations of beauty and of strength and of courage and of hope. And so sometimes throughout my journey, some of the toughest things I've been through have helped me to become the best version of myself. And I take that with a grain of salt, because I'm not putting it out there to the universe, say, hey, like, let's get out this room and fall down the stairs, break a leg, and I'm going to be tough. Like, I'm good for that. But for what it's worth, I think for myself, one of my core values as a human being is that we're not defined by the adversity in which we face. We're defined by our attitude towards that adversity. And that's probably one of my core values as a human being. I have a few, but so no matter what people go through their life, it's kind of how you take it. And I think I'm living proof. I'm still learning and growing, but I'm happy where I am, and I'm happy in the journey so far.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So Alan, if you think about what you described with Keith, and I said, hey, I'll see you after lunch just 20 minutes ago to Keith. So now you've got Keith, who's having men and women here trying to pour value into him, right? But so now you're Keith. What do? You're on the receiving end, right, of all of this. So now what?
Well, one, I think that it's very similar, right? So as you, and I know Keith well enough now, last month and a half that I've known him as well as I know him, but I have got on a plane and traveled to a conference with him and his college buddies after a week after I talked to him, which was weird, but it was amazing. But knowing him like I do, like, his passion is wanting to help other people. So what he's going to do is he's going to take this experience and then go, okay, how can I use this to help somebody else, right? So ultimately, that's the goal, right?
Yeah. So how do we all right, so you're not going to be able to answer this, Alan, because this is a sales question, and let's be honest,
I'm not sales.
You have no to do this. But Omar, we walk into a room, we're there to give a presentation on our software, right? But ultimately, we know that the only way it's going to be successful is if we find ways to add value. What are do you have some questions that you like to ask, or what is in like your process that you do on the sales side to try to find out how you can add value?
Yeah, so I think what's important, and again, I'm continuing to grow and as a human, as a sales professional daily. But I would say the first part of your call, or the first part of your meeting, or the first 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes is all about kind of just trying to discover. And those can be super macro level questions. They're just meant to be able to create a dialogue and a conversation as two human beings who are seeing if there may be a problem which we can solve together. And sometimes there may not be, but doesn't mean you haven't gained value from that call. You've met another intelligent person, you had a good conversation. But really, those initial calls are very macro, and they're just about really nice. Hey, really nice to meet you, Bob. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What, what brought you to this call today, and kind of what are you working on. And you can really get a lot from people by the way they answer those questions, the level of how deep, how much they respond to it, the level of context which they're providing, their tone.
Yeah.
I can pretty much determine how a call is going to end. Even if it's an hour call, I can determine how a call is going to end within probably 7 to 9 minutes, just by the way they're speaking, the way they answer, their tone.
Yeah.
So just kind of start macro, I would say.
That's good. So I've spent, I don't know, maybe 20. How old am I? I've spent 20 years managing sales guys.
Yep.
And it wasn't my idea. Somewhere I read it, somewhere I heard it, right? Everything good that you ever hear me say is probably not from my brain, but it's me just repeating somebody else's ideas. But early on, I read something that challenged me to view every one of my customers as a bank account. And no, don't judge.
As what, sorry?
As a bank account.
Okay.
And so if you tell a sales guy to view a customer as a bank account, what's most salespeople's initial reaction to that, right? Like, how much can I pull out of that bank account to put into my own bank account? And so the juxtaposition of this is no. Your current balance is, and all I want you to do is find ways to add to their bank account. Yeah, it's about how can I add, how can I put something into your world that is going to make you better. Whether that's a solution, a piece of software, whether that's a, hey, let me introduce you to somebody else I know they're going to be a better fit to help you solve that problem. But I love trying to gauge my success rate based on 6 months after I met this person, has their bank account grown, or is my goal just to try to reduce their bank account? And if you start thinking about people that way, it's a whole different dynamic.
That's powerful. Yeah, I really like that. I think
let's just pretend I made that up. Let's say that was.
I can tell you how that feels from an end user standpoint, because I've been on the other side of that table where it becomes very clear the only thing this person wants is the work. And he doesn't care about how he helps me or how he helps, like, and that the thread of that is as masked as you try to make it. It becomes really clear pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. You can tell what. Yep. I hear you. Definitely hear you.
Nice. Omar, where are you headed? Where are you headed next? Do you have any shows, any conferences you're going to?
Yeah. We got. I'm actually got a conference next week. HighByte is going to a show called IFPAC. It's a pharma biotech conference.
Okay.
Intersection of biotechnology, pharma, manufacturing, and we as a company have had a lot of success and traction with our messaging and our product and the solutions, and with the pharma biotech space. So, my flight's at 6 a.m., so I don't know if I'll be flying the day before. I guess I didn't really think about it too much, but I didn't want to leave the night before because I'm away 3 days, and I have a 3-year-old and putting a lot on my wife, so wanted to try to be somewhat respectful, and then going to HighByte HQ in July for a little team building, and then in September I think we're heading over to Chicago. I noticed a lot of people are at this Automate show. I didn't know much about it, but I guess that seems like it's like one of the hot places to be right now.
It's all over the socials, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Philly, Automate 2022, in Philly, and there's something going on in Detroit, I think, right now also.
Something in Detroit too, yeah.
Yeah, it's everything's back with a vengeance, and it's exciting to see it.
How did you guys kind of start Integrate Live? How did that whole process come to be?
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's a value conversation. Alan was looking at doing consulting. Said, hey, Jeff, can you take a look at a business plan that I've kind of built around what I want to do as a consultant? And as I was reading it, a lot of where Alan you were headed and the value you basically wanted to add aligned perfectly with what I had been seeing for the last year and a half of this struggle of getting companies to spend time working together to provide more of an open ecosystem of solutions for end users just to be able, or integrators to be able to just grab and go with. Everything tends to rally around either a vertical or everybody will focus on their solution rather than how they work with other solutions. And so we kind of said, hey, what would it look like if we tried to build a community of end users, hardware, software vendors, and system integrators whose only focus was to try to provide open solutions that work together and were actually trying to serve one another more than they were trying to serve themselves. And it went from what do you think, like a January pipe dream to a March. March, we did our first episode. We actually will be introducing to the world our first new kind of like contracted employee.
Wow.
Yeah, so we went from 0 to 2 to 2.5. Only because we're bringing somebody in part time to start, and she don't give away too many details until we have our official. Hey, everybody, meet so and so. But she's going to add so much value to Alan and I, and in turn add so much value to the community. We can't be more excited. So yeah.
And so from my standpoint, the way it kind of happened on my side of it was, Jeff, I sent my business plan to a few people that I really respect, right? Jeff, Benson Hoagland, Arlen, just some people that are close friends of mine that I really respect. And Jeff came back and said, hey, man, I really like it. What do you think about kind of adding a community, not community, but what'd you say, like a user group or something like that? And then we started talking about it, and it just resonated with me. But I wanted to do it in a way that had nothing to do with me profiting off of. So I'll never on social media, on Integrate Live, try to be promoting my brand or my consulting, any of that. And I truly am all in with, man, let's build a community that is based on humility and service. And if we can do that, that's something that I've experienced in the last 10 years that has probably really empowered me to leave a company in a really well-paying job to say, hey, I can leave this because there's relationships that are incredible that, I would rather spend the rest of my time in my career helping people like that achieve their success. Not that I wasn't effective in my other job, but I don't know, man, it just resonated. So I'm all in.
Love it. I think you guys are onto something really special here. You guys have a good principle, good foundation, and you have the right sort of values that I think it's just gonna really resonate with a lot of people.
Well, thanks, man. What we need actually is to book a technical demo of HighByte and figure out how we can bring HighByte in on a virtual workshop. And
no doubt.
Go off what you guys are doing.
Yeah, we can definitely circulate that idea with the folks who can best do that.
Yeah, nice. Hey, I wanted to ask you, Omar, outside of being super plugged into the automation space, outside of being a dad, outside of being a husband, what is there a hobby? Is there something that you just like go deep into that if somebody watching this wanted to connect with you on like a secondary type of a level, what are you into? Alan's a motorhead. I'm a bit of a maker, or I'm a big reader or a trivia nut.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you like?
I pretty into meditation.
Yeah.
So if anybody's into meditation, they can connect with me on that.
Okay.
Can we connect with you while you're meditating?
Sure, why not?
So I'm just curious because I spend quite a bit of time myself. I don't sleep too much, but in personal reflection and devotion and
Yeah.
prayer. Like, what does that look like for you? How does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, meditate. It's a broad term, and I think
Yeah.
it's. I think I started it about in my second year of university, so God knows how long that was ago, 17, 15 years ago or so. And I mean, I think it's just a process of, and meditation can be many things. It could be writing in a journal. It could be walking and looking at the trees, looking at and being more conscious of your surroundings. It could be going to church or going to the mosque or going to whatever sort of faith you believe in, or spending time in nature. At a deeper level, concepts of mindfulness and things of that nature are involved with being able to sit and create a distance from yourself and the mental processes, which can cause a lot of, they say human beings have hundreds of thousands of thoughts a day. Some are this, some are kind of crazy, this and that, but it's about creating a distance from yourself and that chatter to be able to find that sort of that groundedness. And I think it just helps you to equip you with the ability to deal with the craziness of life in its day to day, because every day when you wake up, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what your mood's going to be. You don't know what kind of little things might tick you off, or maybe you knock over a cup of coffee. These little things can just kind of set you off. So it's just about kind of getting some groundedness, but it can mean so many different things. But anything which can help you find your center. So if it's going to church or if it's listening to a nice song, let that. If you want to listen to some Allman Brothers and tune in, let that be your meditation, right? So
that's great.
Very cool.
That is great. Well, I don't know, Omar, if you're aware, but we have never in the history of Integrate Live not thrown some dad jokes around.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, you are a dad.
I'm a dad.
All right.
Yeah.
So prepare yourself.
Okay.
For what is guaranteed to make you grown. And if you're up for it, we'd love to gather some new material from you. But I've noticed lately that people have had a hard time with some of the Russian accents. It's tough time to be a Russian, right? And my personal thought is that if pronouncing my B's like V's makes me sound Russian, Soviet.
Man, he froze right at the punchline.
Soviet.
That was.
I froze at the punchline.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like you were building right up to it, and then you literally went, and then you came back. Like that. Just like that.
Just like that. But that's a good way to freeze.
Yeah, that's a much better way to freeze. Yep.
Yeah, that could even be your LinkedIn profile pic right there.
Yep. Yeah. You know what the new Tesla smells like? It has a new Elon Musk. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, it's not great, but it is definitely, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Mountains aren't funny. They're hilarious. Hilarious.
There you go.
Well, I guess completely lost Jeff at this point.
Okay. Well, I guess that's a good
That's
Hey, I can't tell you how much I've appreciated. Hey, he's back.
So the punchline got ruined by bandwidth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, not just ruined, but it was Actually, it was probably better.
Yeah, you'll see in the recording that you it froze at a pretty funny place. So
that's great. Well, you know what? I'm gonna save that joke for later on.
All right.
There you go. Hey Jeff, you know why the mushroom went to the party?
He was a fun guy.
He's a fun guy. There you go.
I gotta get more prepared for next time with the jokes.
All right. All right. Well, hey, Omar, thanks for being here, guys. Let's sign off. And the lesson is that figure out how to add value to others and stay off of hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Those are two great
Hey,
lessons.
I'm on the same enhanced hotel Wi-Fi, and not a Mac. I'm pretty solid. Been pretty good.
Shut up. Mac is the future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, thank you for joining us. And always, we appreciate you. We're here only because of you. And we hope you found this valuable. Have a great day.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Omar.
No problem.